Poland Daily Business Edition. Tonight our guest is Marcin Roszkowski of Jagiellonian Institute. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we have very interesting thing in our parliament. The new bill, the budget bill, is balanced. Why is this such a big news?
Because Polish budget were not balanced during previous 30 years, I think. It's something new. It's a kind of a promise done by Prime Minister Morawiecki during the campaign and during the previous months. And actually, it's a good direction to go. Let's see what let's also see what our neighbors are doing. Germany also Germans also have their budget balanced.
But
it works.
Germany is an economical powerhouse. Their economy is 4 times the size of ours.
Okay,
their
but
export is
uncomparable. Slowly approaching their average. But generally, to be frank, it's a good idea not to have the debt increased. Polish budget spends less than 30 billion zloty, almost 30 billion zloty, on covering the costs of our debt. So it's a huge amount of cash that is just for paying off and interest of the previous debt we were
so that's amount
having.
About 10% of the state budget.
Of course, so this is a huge number that we want to increase as Poles, and this is a good direction. If there is if we do not have a significant threat to our sovereignty, there is no need to have such a large deficit.
All with increased spending on social issues, all with increased spending on defense.
Yeah, of course, the defense budget is over 2% of GDP, which actually is a benchmark of NATO. Also, the social programs are in the budget, so 500 plus and all the other social and demographic programs that have been introduced during the previous 4 years of law and justice rule. So generally, I see no point on complaining on this balancing of Polish budget.
Speaking about Polish budget, it's important to know how this budget is structured in terms of currencies. The previous budgets and previous debts were mainly issued in foreign currencies, and this government is taken into account that we should have more debt denominated in Polish zloty.
Of course, if Polish economy
of course, it's not that easy. I mean,
of course, but when Polish economy is doing pretty good, as we are, the GDP growth for previous year was one of the highest in European Union. The prediction for this year is 3.7, if I remember correctly. So generally, we are developing in a fast pace. The unemployment is dropping. The cost of the debt is decreasing. So generally, there is no need to buy to have loans in other currencies, which actually decreases the risks of the costs of future costs of the debt,
or at least removes some of the volatility that may happen.
Of course. So generally, we are benefiting from the hard work of Poles and also from government policies. And the situation, if the situation is good, we are dropping on the debt, and this is a good approach.
This is a good approach, although do we see any dangers in front of this ambitious goal to have balanced budget?
Of course, there was a discussion in the right-wing coalition, ruling coalition. There was this idea of us increase of taxes on a certain amount of rich people, let's say. It has been dropped out. So generally, they were finding in December last year, they were finding a couple of billion zloty to cover the whole DAC by this drop of tax increase. But generally, It's a projection for the whole year. So generally, it will be balanced in the as a bill. Let's see what happens in December.
Those who read Polish media find out the new ideas of taxing new items, for example, sugar tax, which will be only beneficiary to our health because we eat too much sugar, and making it more expensive will make the usage of this product less accessible, which will benefit our health ultimately. That's kind of peculiar argumentation, isn't it?
We have just finished a report on sugar consumption in Poland as Jagielloński Institute, and the amount of sugar we eat has increased 10 times in the last 30 years, so it's a huge increase. Also, there is a budget incentive. Of course, let's not omit this, but generally there is a threat of the health issues are important also.
Okay, so it's perfectly,
I'm for.
perfectly reasonable tax.
There's also an increase of access on certain taxes on alcohol. So this is probably making some people sad.
Okay, and this, there is a media are talking about this fiscal prudence of this government, and they want to tax pretty much everything.
But generally, the Smith Institute, I think also a think tank in Poland, issues points the date of tax-free. It's the day when we are not paying the taxes for the government, and we are earning on our own. And the date is closer to 1st of January, not further. So I think we are doing pretty good.
Everything goes in the right direction.
For the time being, of course.
Marcin Roszkowski of Jagielloński Institute is ensuring us about that. So how could you
Today I'm
not
pretty
believe?
comfortable.
Thank you very much. Well, sir, thank you very much for participating. And that was it for Poland Daily tonight.